there and welcome. You're about to watch a Lakehead International live webinar. It is a great way to explore what Lakehead University is all about. In this session, you'll hear insights and stories from Lakehead professors, staff, and current students. While watching, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. For now, let's dive in. So, hello everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for yet another Lakehead International live session. My name is Hardika Narayankar and I'm part of the international team here at Lakehead University based out of the Thunder Bay campus. So I'm really excited to be joined today by Taylor Lawton and Laura Puddles. They work closely with the students every single day and they'll be sharing their expertise and answering your questions as we go. So let's start with a quick round of introductions. So Laura and Taylor, I will let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone. I'm Taylor Lawton. I'm the Graduate Student Experience Coordinator in the Faculty of Graduate Studies. I'm excited to be here today to chat with all of you and answer some questions. And I'll pass it over to Laura.
Thanks, Taylor. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Puddles, and I'm also with the international team here based in Thunder Bay. And I'm the International Recruitment Officer supporting applicants from Africa, the Middle East, and the Caribbean primarily, just as they explore study options at Lakehead and making sure that they're connected with all the supports they need to make their transition to university in Canada successful.
Thank you so much, Taylor and Laura, for the introduction. So with that, we'll begin today's session. So here's a quick look at what we'll be covering today. We'll start with an overview of Lakehead University, how a Canadian graduate degree strengthens your career prospects, the types of graduate programs in Canada, how to research the right program for you, as well as the cost of living and studying in Canada, immigration-related benefits, and the benefits of gaining work experience in Canada. So let me ask you this. Why do you think so many students from around the world choose Canada for their studies? Well, there are a few big reasons, but for starters, Canada is consistently ranked top 10 greenest countries in the world to live in. On top of that, Canada is also ranked among the top 14 most peaceful countries in the world. And that means that it's a safe and welcoming and a really supportive place for students from all kinds of backgrounds. Canada is ranked one of the best places to live in the world to live in, thanks to its high quality of life, safety, and also the peaceful environment. We are also known for being inclusive. So that means that Canada was actually the first country to officially embrace multiculturalism, and that just shows why nearly 1 million international students now call Canada home. Now, talking about Lakehead a bit, so we have 3 locations, Thunder Bay, Aurelia, and Barrie. Though we are a small institution with under 10,000 students, we consistently rank among the best. Our Thunder Bay location is near Lake Superior, which is perfect if you love the outdoors. The scenery is amazing with forests, mountains, and lakes, and the cost of living here is affordable compared to bigger cities. Aurelia, on the other hand, is a smaller campus just north of Toronto. It's ideal if you're looking for a more intimate setting with small classes and easy access to faculty and staff. And Barrie, on the other hand, is our STEM hub. It's focused on science, technology, engineering, and math programs, and is designed to give students access to hands-on labs, research opportunities, and also industry connections. Plus, Barrie is also conveniently located near Toronto, so you get all the benefits of being close to a major city while studying in a smaller, more focused environment. Now let's kick things off with just a quick overview of Lakehead University before we begin our session. So we are a public university in Ontario with 3 distinct locations. As I mentioned, our main campus in Thunder Bay, and then we have Aurelia and specialized STEM hub in Barrie. But what really sets us apart isn't just the locations, it's the community that you'll find here. Life at Lakehead is about way more than just sitting in lectures and taking notes. It's about connecting with your professors, building friendships, and also getting involved with the broader community around you. One of the things that makes Lakehead really unique is our approach to research. And now I know rankings aren't everything, but they give you a sense of our impact. So Lakehead is in top 3 in Canada for research in our category. Times Higher Education has ranked us #1 in North America for universities with under 10,000 students. And Maclean's consistently places us in the top 5 in our category in Canada. So even though we are considered a smaller universities, our achievements are anything but small. Class sizes are yet another thing that students really appreciate. Instead of huge lecture halls, we focus on smaller, more personal classes. So in Thunder Bay, the student to faculty ratio is 15:1, and in Aurelia it's 13:1. That means that more opportunities to ask questions, participate, and also really connect with your professors. Also, diversity is another highlight. Students come to Lakehead from over 90 countries, so every classroom is a chance to hear different perspectives, share experiences, and also learn from your peers. And finally, like, what about the life after graduation? The results speak for themselves. So 96.2% of our graduates are working within 2 years, which is higher than the Ontario average of 94.1%. So that just tells us that our students leave here ready, confident, and also well prepared. So that was a snapshot of what life at Lakehead looks like. Now I will let Laura take over the next slides discussing types of graduate degrees and how it strengthens your career prospects.
Thanks so much, Hardika. So we thought that it would be helpful for the audience to break down the different types of graduate degrees that are offered at Canadian institutions and specifically at Lakehead University. So I would say the most common one we get asked about is our master's degrees. The Lakehead has a pretty wide range of master's program offerings that I think Taylor will get into in a few slides. And master's degrees are typically what a student completes after they've done a 4-year or equivalent bachelor's degree. So a master's degree will typically take 1 to 2 years of full-time study. And you can do a master's of arts, a master's of science, a master's of engineering, or something more specialized. One of the most important considerations to take when you're exploring master's programs is the program track that you wish to pursue. So you'll notice at Lakehead, many of our programs offer a course-based option or a thesis-based option or a project-based option. And sometimes programs will offer up to all three. So it's really important to consider if you are someone that wants to complete that master's degree by just completing those academic courses, or if you're someone that is really interested and engaged in research who might want to pursue a thesis or project-based track. So as I mentioned, usually these programs are 1 to 2 years. I would say for Lakehead, the majority of our master's programs are 2 years in duration, with the exception of a few course-based options that are 1 year to 16 months. Next, we have our Doctor of Philosophy or PhD programs. So Lakehead does have a small handful of PhD program offerings. These are very much research intensive. So you are going to be working on, research usually of a topic of your choice under the supervision of a faculty member. And our PhD programs will take 3 to 5 years. And the expectation is that you do have a bachelor's and a master's degree in a related field in order to then pursue that PhD. And then lastly, we have professional degrees. So professional degrees are typically a higher academic credential, but in a very specific or focused career path. So some professional degrees might be at the bachelor's level, but they may also require an existing bachelor's in order to pursue them. So some examples of professional degrees would be things like law or Juris Doctor programs, medicine, dentistry, or pharmacy. And we'll just shift to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so we want to talk about how a Canadian graduate degree will strengthen your career prospects. So of course, any university or post-secondary experience is going to be very valuable to you in connecting you with, future career opportunities. But we did want to highlight the economic impact of a master's degree compared to a bachelor's degree in Canada. So we have some statistics on the slides here, and it shows that Canadians with a bachelor's or undergraduate degree will earn almost 25% more than the national average, but those with a master's degree earn 38% more, and with a doctorate or PhD, 48%. So you can really see how that earning potential increases with the more post-secondary experience that you have. So we really do believe that having that university degree, specifically a graduate degree, is going to broaden your opportunities. So it'll help you, get connected with those career opportunities, open doors. And I think that Lakehead is a really good opportunity with our small class sizes and our environment that is a bit more focused for that networking. We do keep our class sizes intentionally small, and there's many opportunities for you to connect more on a one-on-one basis with your faculty members. So I think it's a good environment to kind of gain those skills and do that networking. So we'll move on to the next slide here. And we just want to point out how when you are choosing to study in Canada, you are choosing employment. Hartika mentioned a few slides ago that Lakehead University has over a 96% employment average after graduation. So you are already going to be entering a university environment that is going to be connecting you with those career opportunities. But we wanted to point out a few important things here. So when international students come to Canada, you are eligible to start getting that work experience before you graduate. So international students can work part-time while they're actively studying. The maximum would be 24 hours per week. And international students in Canada are eligible to work both on and off campus in a variety of different fields, whether it's related to what you're studying or it's not. And then after graduation, you are, of course, going to be able to take advantage of that PGWP, that postgraduate work permit. And we are happy to say that all of Lakehead's academic offerings are PGWP eligible for the maximum duration of 3 years. So that is going to allow you to start your career in Canada after you graduate, explore those different opportunities. And then, of course, if you decide you love Canada, which we hope you do, and you want to make it your future home, you can explore options for permanent residency or PR within that time frame. And having that full-time employment, which again, Lakehead has higher than the provincial and national average of post-graduation employment rates, is going to help you receive extra points if you do end up deciding to apply for that permanent residency eligibility. So with that, I think I'm going to pass it over to Taylor, and she's going to talk a little bit more specifically about the offerings here at Lakehead U.
Yeah, so as you can see here, we have a variety of graduate programs and faculties. So here we see a list of our faculties ranging from business, natural resource management, health and behavioral sciences, engineering, education, law, science and environmental studies, social science and humanities, and then we have the new edition of the Berry STEM Hub. Hartika, I could just get you to go to the next slide. So you can see here all of our graduate programs spanning all of our faculties. You can explore more of all of this information, including the mode of delivery, as well as the intake terms of these programs, as well as other pertinent information on our website, which you can see that web link at the bottom. Our website is a great tool for exploring your graduate program and your options so you can make an informed decision that suits you best and with your future goals in mind. So in graduate studies, we have a small but mighty team ready to assist you as you navigate selecting your program, applying for admission, and continuing your journey at Lakehead. However, it is best to come to us after you've already done a little bit of research on the programs. So if you review the available programs, maybe identify one or two that you think would be a good fit for you. We have 2 admissions officers here in grad studies who work on assessing applications. And then we also have a number of other staff members that, including myself, that play a role in assisting with the admission process and the application process through answering questions, sending offer letters, processing official documents, or responding directly to your inquiries. So once you've identified that program that suits you best, please feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you have or concerns or anything that you're just wondering about the programs. Another great resource outside of Lakehead International or the Faculty of Graduate Studies, especially for questions pertaining to your specific program of interest as it relates to how it's delivered or what the specific learning outcomes are in that program, it will be your graduate coordinator. So each graduate program is assigned a faculty member or a graduate coordinator that oversees that program and helps ensure applicants and students are successful. So in finding out who your graduate coordinator is, that information is available on our website, or you can always reach out to us as well. But they'll be able to tell you that more in-depth information about the program itself, while we are happy to assist you with anything related to the application or just kind of general questions about the program. But like I said, it is best to take a look at the website, It has lots of great information about the admission requirements, potential funding opportunities, who your grad coordinator is, what types of routes your program's offered in, whether it be course, thesis, project, portfolio, any of those types of things. But like I said, in graduate studies, you can always reach out to us as your first point of contact, and we can either put you in contact with the correct person or handle your inquiry ourselves. Can you just go to the next slide, please? Okay, now I'm just going to chat quickly a little bit about the 3 options that are available in some of the master's programs. So some of them only have 1 of these routes or 2 of these routes, or some have all 3. So it's important to understand what each stream is, which streams are available in your program of interest, and which one is right for you. So first I'll chat quickly about course-based. So this stream is quite similar to the layout of many undergraduate programs in the sense that you will complete the degree by taking assigned courses. So it'll be different than undergrad as you're a little bit more specialized, but you will complete the degree by taking classes and maybe having some small projects in the classes or things like that. But it will be courses that you're taking. Next, I'll chat about project or portfolio based. So note that this isn't available in all programs, but it is in some. So make sure you look at that. But this typically requires students to complete the degree by doing a research project of some type, along with some courses. So like I said, I recommend reviewing to see what is available in your program of interest. And then lastly, we have the thesis-based option, which requires students to take very few classes and focus most of their time on a large-scale research paper known as a thesis. So this route is popular if you're planning to go into a doctoral studies or PhD program after, as many of them do require a thesis-based master's degree. So also with the thesis-based, it is recommended that you get in contact with a potential supervisor before you apply or while you're in the application process, as it is required that you have a supervisor overseeing your research while you're in the program. So you can also reach out to us and we can put you in contact with the department and their potential researchers, or you can also find that information on the website about potential researchers, what their research areas are, so you can find someone that's a good fit for you. If you don't know who your potential supervisor will be when you're applying, you can always just leave that section blank, maybe even just put in your research area that you're interested in, and we can always add a supervisor later. But it's important that you are trying to make those connections because it does significantly help your chances of admission if you do have a supervisor lined up. So with that, I'll go to the next slide. And I'm just going to share my screen here and look at the university calendar. So this, I hope everyone can see that okay. This is the university calendar. So it has basically all the information you could need on our programs, the courses, everything, fees, all of that. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of quick sections just to show you how easy it is for you to research your programs and to see which one would fit your goals best. So first I'm going to go over to the sidebar here, programs and faculties. So here you can see all of the faculties are listed here. If we go all the way down to the bottom, we'll see the Faculty of Graduate Studies. We'll go to graduate programs. We'll see the faculties again here, and then we can click into, let's look at engineering, for example, and then we can go into master's or PhD. So we'll click the master's option. And now you'll see outlined here all of the options for engineering. So you have chemical, civil, electrical, and so on. So down at the bottom, we can detail even further into one of these options. So we'll look at civil. And now we see there's a thesis option, there's a course option. We scroll down. Okay, there's some information on co-op as well, and information on the courses that you would need to take in the program as well. So as we can see, tons of good information that you can use to help make an informed decision on what program is best for you. We can always back it all the way up to here, and then we can take a look at another program just so you can kind of see what it looks like. Go to Science and Environmental Studies, and then we'll see these programs listed here that are in that faculty. We'll look at biology, and we can see biology only has the thesis option, so that's good for us to note. And this little legend right here shows us that this program is offered on both the Thunder Bay campus as well as the Aurelia campus. So that's another great thing to note based on where you want to end up. Do you want to study in Thunder Bay or do you want to study in Aurelia? Because not all of the programs are offered on both campuses. So that's also something important to take into consideration. But here again, you can kind of see the layout for the program. So now that you can kind of see how to research the programs that you're interested in, another great thing on the calendar is if we go to regulations, you can detail into the university regulations as well as faculty regulations. It's important to note kind of the rules that are in place when you're in a program, right? Just to ensure that once you are in a program, you can be successful. We can also look at the admission requirements. This is a great place to look, especially for the English proficiency requirements here. So you can see all of the scores and tests that are accepted here. Scrolling all the way down, you can see everything that's required or all of your options for meeting the English proficiency requirements. So that's just a little bit of a quick overview of the academic calendar, but I hope that will help as you navigate picking your program and finding out what program fits you best. So I'll stop my share now and I will pass it back over.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Taylor. So next, we wanted to talk a little bit about cost of living and affordability specific to Lakehead. So you'll see on the screen here on the left side, VTM, and then on the right, TB. So we wanted to compare how cost of living and cost of earning that graduate degree in our campus location in Thunder Bay compares to those major urban centers in Canada. So V for Vancouver, T for Toronto, and M for Montreal. We do know that studying in Canada, regardless, is going to be a significant investment for your future and for your career. But there are some benefits of choosing to earn that graduate degree in a more affordable and accessible location, such as our Thunder Bay campus. So we wanted to highlight Thunder Bay specifically because most of our master's programs are offered here in Thunder Bay. And because of our location, our smaller size, we do have a significantly more affordable cost of living and studying. So we're going to go through a few slides here just to really paint that picture. And the first thing we wanted to talk about was just population. So of course, Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal are Canada's 3 most populated cities. So you can see on the screen here, Vancouver with just over 3 million, Toronto with over 7 million, and Montreal with about 4.5 million people, whereas Thunder Bay is significantly smaller at just about 118,000 in our city. And although compared to those big numbers on the left, it might seem really small, Thunder Bay is a unique place because it is a smaller city, but we are really the hub of our region here in Northwestern Ontario. So we have a university and a college, we have a regional hospital, we have a law school. So there's lots of industry here as well. So even though our population might be smaller, you're still connected to those opportunities and you're still getting those bigger city amenities just because we are the largest urban environment within our region of Northwestern Ontario. The next thing we wanted to talk about and showcase is urban density. So this really has to do, I would say, with quality of life more than anything. So we have some statistics here just to show the number of people per square kilometer. So as you can see, those numbers are pretty inflated in Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal, and significantly lower here in Thunder Bay. So this definitely contributes to affordability, especially in terms of housing and the availability of more affordable housing, but also I think quality of life and competition after graduation. So with less people graduating within the region, you're going to have more opportunities to network again on that smaller scale, but also just more opportunities in general because there's less of a competitive environment in a lower populated environment. Next, we'll cover housing costs. So this is where we can see a significant difference. And I do want to mention that, of course, at Lakehead, we do offer on-campus accommodation that is priced, I would say, quite similarly to what we have on the screen here, which is looking at off-campus one-bedroom apartments specifically. But as an international student coming to Lakehead, yes, you may live on campus first year, but once you graduate, or maybe even during your graduate degree, you will be looking at off-campus housing. So it's important to have all of this information. So we wanted to do a bit of a comparison here because we know that in the last few years, there has been a lot of talk about cost of living increase, specifically when it comes to housing across Canada. So you'll notice that there is a gray bar going across the screen that shows that increase. And what's interesting to look at is that we can see that in all 4 cities, there has been about a 20% or more increase in cost of living, but Thunder Bay remains considerably more affordable than those major urban centers. So even though we may have seen a similar increase, we're still several hundred, if not more, dollars below what a 1-bedroom apartment would be in Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal. The next stat we'll look at is cost of living in terms of food expenses and life expenses. And you can see here what's interesting is significantly we are lower than Vancouver and Toronto, but Montreal is actually a little bit lower than in Thunder Bay. And I think part of that is just their available, like lower food costs in the province and some tax differences out of Quebec. But as you can see, choosing a smaller city such as Thunder Bay is going to be a more accessible gateway into studying abroad in Canada. Next, we'll talk about the cost of studying specifically. So we want to go into detail and really empower the audience with all of the information about how much a graduate degree here at Lakehead really costs when you consider all of the fees, all of the relevant fees. So we'll move to the next slide, and I am going to go through each of these categories, but the first thing I want to refer everyone to in the top right corner of this slide is our cost estimator tool. And this is a tool we created a few years ago that is going to be really helpful for you to get an estimate of what a year of studying looks like here at Lakehead. So with our cost estimator tool, it will ask you to fill out a few questions. So whether you're an international student, what program you're coming for, if you want to live on or off campus, and then it will, down to the cent, give you an estimate for what a year of study looks like. So you can really adequately prepare yourself. And we really do work to be as transparent as possible when it comes to outlining and showcasing what those costs would be. So starting with tuition, there are differences in tuition schemes between each program, but one thing I want to mention is on this grid, this is going to be for a full 12 months of study because graduate students at Lakehead do study continuously throughout the academic year. So you are going to be studying the 3 terms from September to December, from January to April, and then May to August. So when we're looking at this, it is not a per semester cost. This is for all 3 semesters, just to be clear. So tuition will range from $23,000 to about $33,000. I would say for the majority of our programs, specifically arts and sciences, $23,000 is the most common. There is an MBA program that has a 12 to 16 month duration that is higher, and that one is about $44,000, but that's the only program that is costing that high. So the general range is the 23 to 33. You will be charged ancillary fees as part of your tuition as well. So this would include things like access to your bus pass here in Thunder Bay or Aurelia or Barrie, access to the gym, student health and wellness services, printing services. So there's a variety of those smaller student fees that are encompassed in the ancillary fees. For textbooks, this will vary a lot depending on your program of choice. And some students will get crafty and buy digital books or use textbooks. So I would say this is a fairly generous estimate, but generally speaking, $1,000 to $2,000 per year would more than cover it. And then for cost of living on campus, and this includes your room and all of your meals, it would range from about 16,500 Canadian dollars for the year to 20,000 Canadian. So that's for 12 months. And again, that's room and food. And then for on-campus, a room only, it would range from about 11,900 to 12,600. So works out to be about 1,000 Canadian dollars per month for your own private bedroom in a shared accommodation right on campus. All international students coming to Canada will be enrolled in our university health insurance plan, just to make sure that you have that adequate coverage while you're here. And that is about 800 Canadian per month. And then we have included in this cost estimator personal expenses as well. So to cover things like clothing, entertainment, and that would be about 2,250. So again, I definitely encourage you to refer to that cost estimator tool. That is really helpful in giving you that yearly estimate. And of course, I'm sure many of you will have questions about funding opportunities. So I am going to pass it back to Taylor just to talk a little bit about what grad funding looks like.
Thanks, Laura. So just to talk a little bit about graduate funding. So one opportunity that I'm sure most of you have already heard about because it's very popular is the graduate assistantship. So this is an employment opportunity with Lakehead University and your academic department. So this is where you would be contracted to work in the department, typically for 10 hours a week throughout the fall and winter terms typically. And this is, you would be marking for an undergraduate course or helping in different ways. You'd be assigned to a researcher and you'd be helping in different ways, either with their classes or their research, marking, going to class with them, etc. So the duties range, but basically you would be paid for this work and you can either have that paid to you bi-weekly like a job or applied directly to your tuition fees. Note that there are a very limited number of these positions, unfortunately. And these are typically assigned to you at the time of admission. So the academic department, when they're making the admission decision, they would decide if they have a graduate assistant or GA position to offer you, they would make that offer at the time of admission. Along with faculty research awards, this is another opportunity that is typically more so for thesis-based students. This funding comes from your department or your supervisor, and it is to support you in your research. So this is also a limited pool of funding. So only those in thesis-based programs may have this opportunity, but it is research money. Maybe it's tied to a specific research project that your supervisor is doing that they're having you work on. So they are compensating you for helping with that project by paying you a stipend. I will also point that we have a large funding database of all different types of awards. It's very, very easy for students to apply once they are in the program because all of the awards are for current students. You just have to simply fill out a general application with all of your information, and then you would be auto-matched with any awards that you're eligible for, and you would be considered for those awards. So while funding opportunities are limited, there are some options and opportunities for you to apply for sure. So with that, I'll pass it back over to Laura.
Thanks, Taylor. So next we wanted to cover a few important updates because there's been a lot going on with the government of Canada and some immigration changes over the last couple of years. But we are pleased to announce that starting this month, actually January 1st, international students that are coming to Canada for postgraduate programs are no longer subject to our national study permit cap. So you may have heard that Canada is putting a cap on the international students allowed to enter, but master's and PhD students are not included in this number. And Canada really wants to attract those students that are interested in postgrad programs. In addition to this, also as of this month, you are no longer required to get a provincial attestation letter in order to apply for your Canadian study permit. So the provincial attestation letter, for those of you that might know, was just sort of an added step in the process of a document that you would need certifying that Lakehead is inviting you to come study with us. And usually a financial deposit would be required. But this is no longer a requirement. So what that means for you is after you get your offer of admission from Lakehead and you pay your $2,000 graduate deposit, you will be free to start that study permit application right away. And of course, you're going to want to keep in touch with us because we do have some webinars, I'm sure, coming up about applying for your Canadian visa and lots on our website and YouTube channel that you can access as well. And then in addition to that, Canada has announced faster processing for doctoral students and their families. So for those PhD applicants, you might be eligible for even faster processing on your study permit applications. Another thing I'll point out here, especially as we are, in a few months going to be approaching the fall intake, you can always track IRCC processing times for your specific country on the website, and these are updated weekly. And I always want to shout out that we do encourage students to get started on that process earlier rather than later, because the later we get into the spring, that's when processing times can get fairly backed up. But with that, I'll pass it over to Hartika.
Thank you so much, Laura, for that. So now we'll be talking a bit more about benefits of gaining work experience in Canada. So earlier we spoke about how during studies you can work as an international student, and also after graduation, there are a lot of opportunities. So just a few benefits of gaining work experience before we wrap up is the first is a career advancement and job readiness. So you gain practical hands-on experience in your field and also develop key skills like communication and problem solving, and strengthen your resume with Canadian work experience that the employer is going to value. Second, we have is the networking and industry connections, which is working allows you to build professional relationship with colleagues, mentors, and supervisors, and also students, international students turn part-time jobs, internships, and also co-op roles into full-time opportunities after graduation. So that's a really good benefit. Also, you also gain a strong understanding of Canadian work culture. So from workplace etiquette to employer expectations, and also employee rights. So this experience entirely helps you to integrate smoothly and also feel confident in the professional environment. And also finally, there are financial benefits. It's earning money while you study is going to help you cover expenses and also reduces financial pressure. So allowing you to focus more on your studies and also career goals. So with that, we wrap up our today's presentation and we'll move on to our Q&A session. Okay. So please send in your questions through the Q&A box below, and our team will be able to answer them as we go.
I did see one question come through. So the student asks, I'm interested in master's in mechanical engineering at Lakehead. Can I be enlightened on the co-op process, the possibility and what it entails? And they're also wondering how the STEM Hub in Barrie is different from our other campuses. So starting with your question about Masters of Mechanical Engineering, I do want to confirm firstly that this program is specifically offered here at our Thunder Bay campus. And we do offer course-based and thesis-based tracks for that program. And it is also available for co-op. So I believe when you apply, that's when you would specify whether or not you want the co-op option added to your master's program. Students at Lakehead can complete co-op work terms from 4 to 16 months, again, depending on your personal goals and depending on your program. And this is something that typically takes place throughout the academic degree. So you don't complete a co-op at the beginning or the end of your Lakehead master's degree. You would do it throughout, and you would connect with the co-op office when you arrive just to kind of map out your specific timeline, because it is unique. It's not prescribed. Students can do co-ops at different times of the year, and they're also responsible for finding their own co-op work positions, of course, with a little bit of assistance from our co-op team as well. And then with the Barrie campus, it is quite different than our other campuses, which are a bit more traditional, meaning that they have all of those services right on campus, like the housing, athletic facilities, perhaps. Whereas our Barrie STEM Hub is a new innovative campus location that's right in downtown Barrie, right on the waterfront, very much focused on science and engineering. It's a brand new facility, and you are still going to have access to all of those services, but those services are going to be a little bit more community-based, which will allow you to integrate into the broader community of Barrie and maybe not so much just into a siloed campus location. So we're really excited for the launch of our Barrie STEM Hub this fall. Okay, another student is asking, they've already done a master's degree, and they'd like to pursue another master's in the same subject at Lakehead. From my understanding, yes, you still can be considered for the master's degree, even if you have an existing master's in the same subject. There shouldn't be any restrictions based on that, but you would want to check all of the academic requirements for the MA Economics program on our website. So those would be available there just to make sure that you meet all of the other qualifications. And of course, you can reach out to us if you have any questions about that. Yeah, so this is about connecting with a supervisor. How do you connect with them? So there is a resource on our website. I'm wondering, Hartika or Taylor, if you could maybe pull it up. It allows you to look at the different faculty members in each area and find their research interests and contact information. I also do want to point out, oh, perfect. Hartika just put the link in the, or Taylor just put the link in the chat there. So it is strongly encouraged to reach out to a thesis supervisor if you're pursuing a thesis program. That being said, if you're doing a course-based master's, it's typically not required. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware. Sorry. Another question that came through, is there any application fee waivers? And at this time, we do not offer application fee waivers. And I believe the graduate application fee is 125 Canadian dollars.
Okay, I'll move on to the next part of our webinar session. And that just is basically, that's going to bring us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining. And a big thank you to Taylor and Laura. Taylor from the Graduate Studies team and also Laura from the recruitment team for their guidance and their insights. So if you have any questions or want to connect with us further, feel free to connect with us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under Lakehead International. Also, if you're curious about student life, any kind of upcoming events, scholarships, or just want to hear directly from the current students, those platforms are a great way to stay in the loop. So we really hope to see you at one of our next live webinars, and even more, we'd love to welcome you on campus as a Lakehead student someday. Thank you so much for joining again.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. You can connect with us on social media. You can find us at Lakehead International on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We hope to see you in our next live webinar. Bye for now.